This may not be my favorite Disney princess movie, but it's definitely the best of the classic medieval fantasy ones. It's the best one with the prince and the castles and the princesses and, you know, the usual princess stories. This is pretty much Disney taking everything that they've learned from their other princess movies, putting it all into one film, while also giving it far more attention and refinement than those movies. Those movies were all good in their own right, but each of them were lacking something. Like Snow White, for example. The prince didn't really need to be there outside of a Deus Ex Machina plot device. Cinderella, the prince is a little better, but in return, it doesn't have much action. What's another one? I'm trying to remember them all. No, I think is that it? I could swore I reviewed more than that. Let me see. Bambi doesn't count. Pinocchio's not a princess movie. No, it's so far. Okay, it's only been 2 so far. Okay. So, it's them taking the best elements of Snow White and Cinderella and putting it together, while also giving it the more refined treatment that they have for movies like Peter Pan. And if that sounds awesome, it's because it is. This is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And it's one of the first Disney movies I ever watched growing up, because this was in my mom's DVD collection for the longest time. And even though I wasn't really a princess type, I still watched it, and I still had a great time watching it. And no, it's not just because of Maleficent, even though she does play a big reason for why. So, I will do my best to explain, as best I can, why this movie is so damn good. But, once again, a lot like Fantasia, I'm not sure if any words that come out of my speaking hole is going to be able to actually do this movie justice. If you've seen this movie, you know why I love it so much. If you haven't seen this movie, you are doing a disservice to Disney itself. Because this is as Disney as you get. It is a classic fairy tale that has the refinement of their more later modern works. So, let's talk about it. In fact, I love this movie so much that I actually have 2 copies. My mom's old DVD, and of course the Masterpiece Collection VHS tape. And since this is another digitally restored limited edition, it has some cool little bonus features in there too. So, yeah, I had plenty of backstory and stuff for this movie. So, I will do my best to do this movie justice, but please do not be too mad at me if I miss something. I have watched this movie a lot of times, but until now I haven't really watched it recently. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but trust me, I will do my best to make sense of it. But regardless of what I say, this is a movie that you need to watch. Whether you are a princess fan, whether you aren't a princess fan, whether you're a Disney historian, whether you're an animation historian, whether you're a kid, whether you're a teenager, whether you're an adult, whether you're an elder, you must watch this movie by any means necessary. So, I think I've done enough build-up. I mean, I've literally built up for the past few minutes, already surpassing the length of the last review without even getting into the actual review. So, how about I just shut up now and get to the actual reason that you're here. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Station, which is for animation, coming TV, and movies. I'm your host, Jason Small. Welcome back to Disney November 2. Welcome to the masterpiece that is Sleeping Beauty. Why is it a masterpiece? Well, allow me to tell you in this written review. I hope you enjoy. While Mulan might be my favorite princess movie from Disney, there's no denying that this is the best of the fantasy ones by a mile. This was one of the first Disney movies that I ever watched, and even as a kid, I really enjoyed it. And no, it's not because of just Maleficent, as awesome as she is. It's because it's the culmination of all the elements of Disney's previous princess films, Cinderella and Snow White. and significantly improved in pretty much every single way. To put it simply, it is a masterpiece. Again, I know that sounds weird coming out of the mouth of a 23-year-old who watches anime for a living, but trust me when I say I'm not making a hyperbole. I really adore this movie. Why? Gorgeous animation, arguably the best of Disney's classic era, stellar storytelling. It is classic, it is a fairy tale, so you kind of know the beats, but it also kind of throws some of the usual beats of that template out of the window. Unforgettable characters, Aurora, Prince Philip, and his dad, which, his dad, the funniest character in the movie. Absolutely love his dad. King Harold, the good fairies, Maleficent, etc., etc., etc. All the characters in this movie are unforgettable. Delightful music. Once Upon a Dream is one of the best and most underrated Disney songs of all time, and yes, I will fight you on this. Outstanding voice acting from everyone involved, especially Maleficent, who sounds so freaking good. Even today, sounds so freaking good. Great humor that doesn't fail to land, mainly because of Prince Philip's dad and the scene where he's drinking with King Harold in the royal hall. Scars, scars. That scene cracks me up, especially when the bard starts drinking too. That scene always cracks me up. It's so funny. Iconic finale. I mean, how many of us don't know about the big finale, like where Maleficent turns into a giant fire-breathing freaking dragon? Like, classic Disney. Perfect pacing, no problem there. Excellent runtime, no problem there. Phenomenal villain. I would argue that Maleficent is a top 3 best Disney villain of all time, period. Whether it's Pixar, whether it's animation studios, whatever. She's an incredible villain. I just wish I could say more about why, but it's a spoiler. Excellent runtime, it doesn't take very long to get through the movie. And very high rewatchability. I can pretty much rewatch this any day, anytime, anywhere, and always love and enjoy it. Call it bias, but I absolutely love this one. I pretty much have no complaints. It's classic Disney at its most refined and well done. It's a must-watch, plain and simple. What, does that still not sell you on it? Okay, how about I read the synopsis then, off of the back of the VHS tape, if I can stop bonking myself in the head. Once upon a dream, the lovely Princess Aurora is gifted with grace and beauty, but she provokes the jealousy of the wicked fairy Maleficent. A delightful trio of kind-hearted good fairies do their best to protect their beloved princess. But even their magic is no match for the terrifying mistress of all evil, and Aurora falls into an enchanted slumber. You know, pricks her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, you know the whole story. The heroic Prince Philip must then brave many dangers, and finally battle a ferocious fire-breathing dragon, if he is to wake Princess Aurora from her eternal sleep. I literally cannot say anything more than that without spoiling it, which I don't want to do, because this is simply a movie that everyone needs to see. It's one of Disney's finest, it's one of Disney's best, and while it's not my favorite princess movie, I will always forever love and adore Mulan. This is in the top 5, at the very least. And because of that, final verdict for Sleeping Beauty is a very high, well-deserved, maybe a little biased out of childhood nostalgia, 11 out of 10. Check this movie out if you have not checked it out already. It is simply an animation marvel. And even today, its animation is so beautiful. But it's not all flash. It has substance, and arguably the most substance of these classic Disney films. I literally cannot say more than that without spoiling anything, so thank you all so much for watching this review. Please check this movie out if you haven't already, and if you have watched it already, watch it again, because it definitely is still a classic that holds up beautifully. And that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Been looking forward to doing this review pretty much all month, so I hope that I was able to fully do this movie some kind of justice without spoiling too much. And I hope you guys are enjoying Disneyvember. I know we still have a little bit to go yet, but it definitely feels like it's winding down a little. So, what is next? Oh, this one. Okay. We have a big one up next. A big one. A very, very well known, a very, very iconic, and a very, very beloved Disney movie that I somehow have not seen before until now. Please don't crucify me if I end up having a different opinion. I'll see you next time for 101 Dalmatians.
Lesson I will soon forget, so listen and you won't regret. Be true to yourself, don't miss your chance, and you won't end up like the fool who ripped his pants.